Hello, good morning. My name is João. I come from Calouste Gulbenkian Foundation in Portugal. Well, I think I'm the only one that speaks Portuguese in this room, right? Yes. So I can say something that I want you to understand in Portuguese. So, but my sorries for my bad English. I speak very fast, so please kick me if I start kicking. Well, I'm a little bit nervous because I'm feeling like a little goldfish in a shark tank with Welcome Trust and Bill and Gates Foundation. We are not giving money, we are not receiving money, we are buying and selling projects. We are small. Calouste Gulbenkian Foundation was started in '66 in Portugal by Calouste Gulbenkian. It's an oil tycoon from Armenia. He was settled in Portugal during World War II because of the good weather, the health system, and no taxes. So he started the foundation there in Portugal. Yeah, we also have a UK branch and a Paris branch delegated to arts. The purpose of the Calouste Gulbenkian Foundation is fostering knowledge and raising the quality of persons' lives through the fields of art, charity, science, and education. If you see our symbol, the four horsemen is not the four horsemen of the apocalypse, but the cool version of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. So arts, charity, science, and education. Yes, arts is our main field. We have choirs, we have a museum, we have a modern art center, we have an orchestra well recognized all worldwide. But since the 60s, we are operating in the Portuguese-speaking African countries and East Timor. Angola, Cape Verde, Mozambique, Guinea-Bissau, São Tomé e Príncipe, and East Timor are our 6 areas of work since the 60s, when these countries were part of the Portuguese, not Portuguese empire, but the Portuguese country. We have a different way of colonization. It's always bad, but it was different because it was a part of Portugal as Lisbon or Porto or Coimbra. So, well, but we financed through scholarships the leaders of the revolution. So Calouste Gulbenkian Foundation has a good role in it. So the major lines of intervention are health and education. These are core pillars to reduce, from the strategies to reduce poverty. That's our objective, to work in health, to work in education, to reduce poverty in these countries. You know all the major guidelines for this, but I would like to say appropriation of results is our main purpose. We don't work alone, we work in co-responsibility and in complementarity. We work together for a common objective. If the people of the countries, through their governments, don't want that project, we don't start the project. So we are not receiving money, we are not giving money, we are buying and selling projects from these governments to other donors and to these countries from other donors. So we form a grant-giving model. We were working in a grant-giving model. We stopped doing that, and we are working in other means of intervention in the field. So we are investing in new methodologies and implementation strategies where evaluation of the impact is our major concern at the moment. New partners and new funders with shared interests in networking are our second way of doing things. We started participating in networking, like for example, International Society for Neglected Tropical Diseases and European Foundation Initiative for Neglected Diseases, Stop TB, connections with the NDI for clinical trials, so END Fund in Angola, but not directly, not through Calouste Gulbenkian Foundation, but the scholars and people that we support are working for you now. So we were the basis of these countries to have people to work for other donors for the sharks. Intervention in orphan aid niches missed by traditional donors by means of innovative approaches. We work in TB, we work in neglected tropical diseases, and we work in Portuguese African-speaking countries because traditional donors forget these countries because Angola and Mozambique were through some civil wars. They already finished 10, 15 years ago, and they are very rich in natural resources, so they have that trap to resolve, because they have money, but they don't use the money for the people. So we are trying to get between fossils and tempests, try to get a soft spot on each country. So in some countries we are working in the field, other countries we are donors, in other fields we are recipients. We work with 1.7 million euros per year for development aid programs. We add to this another million from public sectors of the countries where we are working, another $500,000 for grant giving. So the money from Calouste Gulbenkian Foundation is a fifth, an half of the money we have each year. And we are working in human resources, but not working in human resources in basic education, but higher education, because most part of the money in these countries are set into basic education. Yes, we support in the construction of manual for basic education and secondary education, but we are really working the last 10 years in higher education, because we think this is a priority area of intervention. Because if you have higher education, you can qualify directly human resources in the field. You can work in the quality and the quantity of senior management of each country. And if you have senior management capabilities in the country, they can work with the rest of the donors in developing projects. So we are working in the graduated courses, nursing, medical schools, but we are also working in PhD programs, public health in Angola, working in the tourism area and medical and pharmacy sector in East Timor. We are financing teachers all around the world to give classes in the universities and to form the senior staff of these faculties so they can form the graduated students. We are in for the long run. We don't expect to see results in the near decades, maybe in the next 20, 30 years. We have time. We are present there since the 60s. We observe the wars destroying the social fabric. So we are ready to stay and help people for the rest of the future. So in the medium long term, we are trying to qualify senior management, absorb the largest amount of students who seek this level of education in the coming decades. In Mozambique, the people that are already born in the peacetime, they are getting out of the secondary schools. They don't have nothing to do. And people have the same aspiration as in Europe, as in America. They want to go to university, and there's no universities to go. They are starting to grow in Mozambique, for example, in Maputo, but also in Nampula, with the help of the Danish aid program. Respond to the challenge of sustainability, growth, and employment of these young people. So we are facing the problems of the South in the same way that we are facing the problems in the North. We have unemployment, we have no future to give to some of the populations there. So if you work in higher education, you have to see the research as the second way of to make universities and institutions more capable. So we are working in health research because we do two major objectives. We work with the populations because they benefit from structured interventions. Epidemiological studies, we can attach epidemiological studies with mass drug administration, with mosquito net giving, all of these actions. And we are creating and retaining the senior staff in local universities. And we are doing local evidence to definition of public policies in health and also in education. Three examples to finish. One of them is a paradigm shift in the scholarships. We don't give scholarships, we sign a contract to the scholars when they are students in postgraduate programs or when they are doing research projects. They have a commitment of returning to their countries or to develop their research projects locally. We don't support scholars to develop research in European institutions. They can do here their first years, but their last years, the field work has to be done in their local countries. And the effective involvement of countries in this process. The choice of the students of the scholarships are not controlled by the governments, but have the support of the governments. They will not do research or studies in areas not identified by the governments. We don't have officials of the government in the jury selection because of all the problems that everybody knows of working in Africa. The favorism of some people to others, but we work with the government. So no scholars given, contracts signed. Another example is the foundation networking for NTDs, is the European Foundation Initiative for African Research. It's five European foundations getting together, 4.5 million euros. To the moment, 30 postdoctoral fellowships, 60 PhDs and master students, and is involving to an African network of NTD research. My colleague from Merio will speak later today about these two programs with more detail. And the third one is the creation of a health research center in Angola, of Angola. We started in 2007 with the Portuguese government and the Angolan government. We started and we are developing as an epidemiological study, but now, and I can announce this, we will sign as Calouste Gulbenkian Foundation a memorandum of understanding with ADCTP as Melinda and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, but not with the same values. And we are trying to develop CISA as a clinical research center for the future. So in 2015 ahead, we will try to develop a clinical research center because we already have an epidemiological research center. So we work in malaria, Zumais, NTDs, and also non-communicable diseases such as cardiovascular. We work with institutions around the world. They've involved in some work with us in CISA in Angola last year, and we will see more projects. I will finish saying that the end is not near, the end is very far, yes, and practical. But I think that we consider that our goals of fostering knowledge and raising the quality of the persons are being achieved and appropriated by the partners and communities. So, once again, thank you for your time. This is our content that will be during the day. I'm not giving money, I'm not receiving money, but I'm buying and selling projects. So if you have a project to sell to us, I'm ready to buy it.